standard text, standard or application text. I mean sales order header text like so, and tables and windows. These are all the most of the elements what we use on the forms, either smart forms or the Adobe forms. So the same way, I'll be covering all these topics. How do we work with them on the Adobe forms? Brian, you are recording the session?
Yeah. Yes, I'm recording it.
The base transaction for Adobe Forms is SFP. And to begin with, I'll go to some of the test programs and how we can test whether. A little talk about the architecture first. We need on the desktop, we need Adobe Lifecycle Designer. Without this, we cannot design the layouts on our PCs. And the next thing is, on the server side, we should be needing the ADS installed. ADS is acronym for Acrobat Document Services.
And
these two are mandated.
And do we have to install that ourselves, or is that something that comes pre-installed in the system?
No, this is a licensed software that we have to purchase it and we have to install on our PCs.
So could you write that down on your document that you're creating?
Yes, I do have Adobe installed on my system. If I go to Adobe folder, I do have a Designer 9.0. In the program files, we can see if the Designer is installed or not.
We don't have.
Yep. Designer we have to install on our own, and moreover, to see PDF files, we should be needing Acrobat Reader.
That we have.
And the server should be having ADS installed. I'll go to test program. FP underscore PDF underscore test underscore 00. This is this program. We will know the ADS installed or not on the server side. If we execute, it asks for the connection. If the ADS is installed, it gives the ADS version. So if you go to any other system, wherever the ADS is not installed, this program won't work. This program won't reply. This we will know the ADS installed or not. I'm repeating the program name: FP underscore PDF underscore test underscore 00. And there is one more program. I remove the PDF and I execute it. I give a preview. Using this program, we can know like ADS is working or not. The previous program shows only the ADS is installed or not. If sometimes though ADS is installed, due to connection issues or something, the form won't work. That's where ADS is a separate connection. We will have this ADS updated in our SM30, SM59. I mean one of the HTTP connections. We will have this connection. By default, the name is ADS. This is set up for the Adobe Forms.
So if it is not installed, you cannot preview the program also.
No, we cannot preview them. These two are mandate. Designer is on the front end. Using the program files, we can know whether Lifecycle Designer is installed or not. and using the rest of the two programs what I've shown you, we will know whether EDS is active and is installed on the server. So if we go to any other system, we won't get the thing. And I'll start up with the designer brand. In comparing to smart forms has only one interface, and with the Adobe Forms, the thing is the interface is detached from the layout. So the reason for this is the same PO form. It may be different look and feel for different countries, but the interface where actually we have all the data is remains same. So only the layout matters. In this cases, we will reuse the same interface for other layouts. So that's the reason interface matters. Let me show up one test this thing.
So
The
there,
interface,
Praveen, there's an interface, a form, and a driver program.
No. 1 minute. I'll come to that. We do have a print program and interface and layout. The P code for this is SFP, and as you know, this is SC38. So in SFP, we design the interface, which is a reusable component, and then we design the layouts using the existing interfaces.
Okay.
And in smart forms, these two are tied together, interface and the layout. And whereas in Adobe Forms, the interface is detached, so that one can design different layouts for different scenarios using the same interface. If I go to one of the interface, what you see is same as the smart form interface. We will have import parameters, we will have export parameters, and we will have global data. We will have types. The types we can define here itself, and as well initialization, and the currency and the quantity fields. I assume everyone in the call have knowledge on the smart forms.
Yeah, I think most people have at least looked at it or done some of them.
Yeah. So here,
I do not.
okay. Then I do one thing. I'll go ahead with with thinking, assuming everyone knows smart forms. I'll compare with the smart forms. This interface is nothing but this is the data provider for the form. In smart form also we do have the same thing. Comparing the SAP script. In SAP script usually what we do is we call the different windows and text elements at different places in the print program. But whereas coming to smart forms or the Adobe forms, what we do is we collect the entire data and we push that data to a function module, nothing but the generated function module, so that in the respective smart form or the Adobe form, we will be displaying that information. All that information comes as a part of the import parameter. Suppose if we are displaying sales order header and item information, header we will import it, and item data we will import it to the smart form or the Adobe form, and we loop at those informations and we will be displaying on the forms. That is what the interface matters for smart form or the Adobe form. Uh, I'm showing only the display part now, and here I'll be explaining all the important parameters, what we need to create an interface. If we come here, this is very common in SAP. We have to give a description. There is an interface type. One is a dictionary-based interface type. One is a XML schema-based interface type. And one is a smart form compatible interface type. What these three mean? The dictionary-based interface. This having, as it named, all the types should be compatible with the ABAP dictionary. Meaning, all types, we can straight away refer to the existing dictionary. And whereas if you come to XML schema, this one I have not worked at all. And this tells about, if we are web services, there all the data exchange happens over the XML format. So all the data definitions are there with the XML schema. We will be using those references. And whereas coming to the third type, as we can migrate from script to smart form, here as well we can migrate smart form to Adobe Forms. In such cases, we can use the third one, but in 99% of the cases, we will be using the first scenario. This is all what we need for the interface creation. And when we come to the import and export parameters, if you look at the first one, by default, we will get the doc parameters. The doc parameters nothing but what language. Suppose if you want to print the PO in Russian, we have to pass the language as a Russia, and the base country. I mean the decimals or the date formats, localizing to the respective country. And the third parameter is the interactive form, whether this form is interactive or not. If tomorrow if we have to create an interactive form, then we have to fill this as a X. And there are three parameters like replacement languages. Suppose we are trying to call a Russian form, but the Russian form is not available. Then we can pass this as a alternative language. Alternative language 1, alternative language 2. We can pass like a EN. And the rest of the fields are like what we pass to smart forms. These are all customized. We can pass whatever we want to print on the form. And the types as well are the same as a smart form. Tables, table types, structure types, we can pass it over. And the global data, as we know, as a smart forms, this is same. I'm switching to the form designer. I'm taking the same example. Display. Let me first go to the properties section. If you see here, this has got an interface fp_test_03. I'll open one more form. Underscore table also using the same interface. The previous form and the underscore table form, they both are using the same interface. Like the data is same, the import and export parameters. Suppose if any of them, if any one of them, changing, then we should be creating a different interface. and I'll go to the next tab.
So the interface determines your input output parameters.
Same, yes.
Be the layout changes.
If we see here the context, the parameters what we see are nothing but from the interface. Let me go to the interface. I'm double clicking on that. It will take me there. If you see here, there are import parameters, customers and bookings and connections. The left panel, what we see here is nothing but the interface data. So customers is a record type, I mean structure, and the booking is of a table type. That's where we see a different icon, and connection is also same. And as well, we will get a default system fields. In SAP script, we have a SAP script in SFSY, right, for smartphones. In the same way, we get SFPSY for the system fields, date, time, username, and the size of some fields. So the left, whatever I'm showing up here, this is nothing but the data that is coming to the form. And the right side, this is a little tricky part, and we have to drag and drop all the fields here, and this is what we can little design it here and there. So this context is going to be the data source for the designer.
The required fields we have to drag and drop.
So here we would have a record type, this one, and if I open it up, we will see some of the fields inactive. Considering the performance point of view, for the layout we don't need many fields. Though the dictionary having 100 of fields, we only need 10 fields. But this context matters. How much data is flowing across the context matters the performance. So whatever the fields are not required, we can simply right click and 1 minute. Let me go into change mode.
That customer structure, where can we see what that actually is in the dictionary?
Sure, I'll show that. If you double click on that down part here, the type is as custom.
Okay.
Here we can see, and as well if you go to the interface part, that customer is of type as custom.
Got it.
And we can activate, deactivate here whatever the required fields. And this activating, deactivating, these days this has become common in every like we use PI system, anywhere mapping. Like this is like a usual kind. We can activate, deactivate the fields. This is mainly for the performance point of view.
So when we drag and drop, we will drag and drop the complete structure.
Yes.
Okay, then from the required fields.
Let me show up now. I'm deleting the customer structure and dragging and dropping onto the root folder. So everything comes as a active. And this point of time, I don't need the client as active. You can deactivate it. Or else if you want to deactivate a number of fields, using a control, we can select the N fields and we can set it to deactivate. This way we can do. And as well, we have seen only record type, how it appears. If I open up the table type, in the context, we will see table type, and it will get by default a work area to work around the table data. The data is predefined structure name for the totals, and here as well data is for the bookings. Here as well we'll have the fields. We can activate, deactivate them. This is how it is. So our job is now to design the context, because this is going to be the data source for the form. So,
well, activating a field doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be on the form. You just need to be able to use that data.
yes, we cannot use that, and that data won't go to the Adobe layer.
From the layout layer.
So the thing is, there are two parts now. One is on the ABAP side, and one is the ABAP layer, one is the Adobe layer. So the context, whatever we are designing it here, that gets exposed to the Adobe layer. Suppose if we are making one field as inactive, that data won't go to the Adobe layer. Let me show up quickly. How does it show on the Adobe layer? The layout opening will take 1 minute like so. This is a time consuming this thing. And as well, the activating also, it takes 1 or 2 minutes. This is a time consuming part while designing or working with the layout. If you see here, the data view, nothing but the data is exposed to the Adobe layer. If you see here, FP test03 is the one root folder we have seen in the context there, and if you open it up, we are having the field there, and then date, and in the bookings, only the activated fields we are able to see here, and whatever deactivated, those fields won't appear here. I'll tell you one more, is for the binding, this becomes easy. Suppose I go to one of the field, for data binding, and it makes my job easy. If I have 200 fields there in a single structure, going upwards and downwards, finding the respective fields again, is a matter. Let me go back to the context. See here, the data view all matters. This is nothing but the context what we created in the context tab. That all we can see in the data view tab here. This is going to be the main source for the Adobe form. It doesn't matter what is there in the interface, what is there in the print program.
Only context.
Only the context matters. So that is why we have to be little tricky. How do we design the context? Let me show what all we can create. One is a graphic. Graphic is nothing but logos. We can design it. These are just come now. Let me name it. Again, there are two types are available here. One is a graphic type, one is a content, and one is a reference. Content, the reference is nothing but, we have to pass the URL. Suppose we do have http://sigmaology.com, some corporate logo.jpg. We have to give that reference. But generally, if someone is accessing outside the Sigma network or something, sometimes, the URLs, whatever we are passing it, maybe, restricted to some of them, like it is not, if it is within the network, we won't have issue. Suppose if the XYZ person outside network are using that, they will have issue. And, that's where we do have another option, graphic content. Here we can give the field name and the MIP types. I'll come to this at a later point. Like I mean to say there are two types we can define it. One is a content and one is by reference. Content means what it will do is it will create graphic data in the behind, and it will hold that information with the form. Let me go for one more. These are all, these are all we call as a nodes, context nodes. This is a table type node. This is a single record node. This is a text node.
So
this is a field.
Graphics is to insert logo. That's what you told me. There is no way to.
No, not only logo. Any kind of image.
Yeah, any kind of image. There is no way to upload from our local folder and put it.
Import.
We can do that. So by content we can do. I mean, like, we do have two options. One is by passing the reference. One is by embedding the content.
So that you have to create a field and you need to.
Yes.
So that field will map it.
Yes.
And position this where position is different, right?
Yeah, I'll come to the layout part. Again, for graphics also, suppose we have a Sigma logo and there is another SAFC logo. We can create content and we can create two fields. One is for the Sigma logo and one is for the SAFC logo, and we can bind the content into those fields and we can pass the field name to the respective field. Suppose let me say if my post, sorry, I'm using this field. Okay, this is extreme. Okay, type is not matching. We can drag and drop, respective field wherever the graphic content is there to this field.
So when we say dynamic, we need to write coding according to that?
Yes. In the print program or like. Okay, let me switch to the other node. We are done with the graphic, and we look at the address. If we click on address node, as we know in SAP script or smart form, whatever the fields are there, this is the same. We are still at the Adobe, ABAP layer, so we do have all the flexibility to work with this. The address number, the address type, and how many number of lines you want to use it, and the sending country, the PO box. We do have all the flexibility what we usually do with the SAP script or the smart form. SAP addressing format, everything we can do at this point of time. So here as well, we can drag and drop respective field. Data binding we can do here itself. Let me take. Let me show one drag and drop. Suppose my postcode has got the address number. You can simply, drag and drop it over here. Now this is how we map it. This customer postcode indirectly, goes back to the interface and it binds to this field. This field and this structure, the respective field, and this field are mapped now. This is on the context design side. And let me go to one more node, what we can create. One is a text. We do have a S410 text. as well, sales order, header text, application text, I mean, standard text, application text, everything, we can work with. Because this is a ABAP layer again. So we do have all the flexibility, to map text module. Suppose if it is a include text, we want to use it, we will get the text name, text object, text ID, text language, and this one I suggest. No error if text not available. Sometimes what happens if text is not available, it simply dumps. And as well, text module is here. This is same as smart forms. How do we use it? The same way we can name it. And dynamic text, I have not used it so far. Okay. So we have covered the logo, graphic, address, and the text, standard text or the application text. Let me go for the next one, alternative. This is same as the smart forms. If we have a condition, suppose if sales organization is 5670, then print this logo. If not, print the other logo. So using that true false, we can switch to the respective routing. And again, this is a folder. This folder is nothing but simply a elements folder, just like a folder as it named. It is simply a folder. It is no no mean. And the data. Let's go for the data. Data is nothing but we simply add fields. If I open it up, we can add single fields to the context, and in most of the cases we don't need it. We usually we import the entire structure and we do reactivate, activate, deactivate, and the structures. We can do that. See the data, structures, and the loop. Loop is nothing but the table type. Structure is nothing but single record type. Data is nothing but single field. We can do that way, and those three of them we can simply drag and drop to the folder. See, the data is created, and we have seen customer structure also. Customers also, we simply drag and drop from here to here, and the same way. Let me delete the bookings and let me show it up. Loop also we can do that. So simply drag and drop. So as I said, every table type will get an implicit work area created for that. And what else is there? Single record is again just like single record. 1 minute. Let me open up. Single record. What it will do is, suppose if I have a table of 10 connections, I want to display only the connection number 0017. That condition, it requires out of the complete table from the booking, I can use suppose connection ID. So this is a single record holder. It's like this. From the entire table, we don't need all the records, only specific records. We can do with a single record holder.
Is there a way to pull dynamically this one? If there are some a number of records.
Dynamically, the conditioning we can do so. We can do so. But I have to do little R&D. I cannot 100% assure. Looks like that is possible because this is a field. We can simply compare it. We can simply drag and drop over here, so that it will have a comparison. Based on that, I can say like that is possible. And is everyone clear with the context designing? Okay. So, Brad, we have covered the context, and let me go to the layout thing.
How about we have about a 5-minute break just for everybody to go to the bathroom and eat a drink and stuff?
Fine, Brad. Fine.
Okay. So let's have 5
We'll be back in
minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now Marilyn's saying that the sound and screen are frozen. Let's just give her a second to see if that clears up.
Okay.
Because sometimes that happens with this. She's going to rejoin, so let's just give her another minute.
This is Marilyn. Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I got. Well, okay, I'm back.
Voice is echoing.
Unmute for those who are not talking. Go ahead, Praveen.
So for my test, I'm copying the.
Others to mute, go to meeting.
I think someone still to mute. Okay, we are good now. Yeah. For my test, I'm copying the standard form to a local object. Going to a change mode. Oh, yeah, everything is. I'm activating that. It is asking for standard layout. Going for activate. The activation will take. Okay, activated. We are good. Let me go to the layout. We know the data view. Just now we have seen the context there. That is nothing but in the data view. Let me close all these panels first. PDF preview, the master page. The design view is the basic one. Usually what we see. This is a minimum element. Here if we see, 1 minute. There's a menu bar, and here we see design view, and there is a master pages that once we click on them, all gets opened. Preview. The master pages, the design view, and the PDF view. Here, we know the main window concept. Sorry, I don't confuse you with the main window concept. The thing is the master page. If everyone know the PowerPoint, the PowerPoint, this thing, slides, how do we design it? We will have a master slide.
Yeah.
The same way, here we do have a master page. So on the master page, whatever we design it, that can be seen on all the pages that output gets generated. I mean, this is going to be the main template for the entire form. Suppose if you, on the first page, if you want to put a logo and rest of the pages, no logo, then this is not a good idea to use that particular element on the master page. The master page is mainly going to be the basic template for all the pages.
Okay.
And
If you want two pages, different pages, first and second page, then this cannot be used.
yes, if you want repeated sections on different pages, then that we can put onto the master page. If you see here, this is one graphic element put onto the master page, and some text elements and all have been put on into the master page. And the pink color one, what we see is nothing but the content area.
Main window area.
Just like a main window area. Whatever we write it onto, in the main window again, we in the SAP script, we do have text elements flowing across, right? Whatever the text element we call it, the data gets printed from a top to bottom manner. The same way, we will have to design different pages, so all that gets printed into the content area. So this content area is actually the floating data fits into. And suppose if there are 100 records, as the data is flowing across number of pages, the 100 records gets split into those many pages as needed. So
By default.
the content area is nothing but floating in floating window. As needed, we have to design the parameters for this. 1 minute, let me select, and we can do adjustments.
I have a question.
Okay.
If you have a form that has, let's say, 3 pages and none of those pages are the same, you would not have a master page.
Only content, yes, you are right. We may have to operate in the floating information only. And if we need 3 different pages with different, on the first page we need logo, on the second page we need the document title, it's something like so. On the third page we need terms and conditions. Like we can manage them. We should be knowing a little bit of scripting. The Adobe form uses scripting behind to control the respective requirements. Like there is a form calc, and there is one more well-known JavaScript. Using these two scripting languages, we can control some of the contents to appear on a first page, on a second page, on a last page, like so. The content area, the master page, usually we will have the page 1 of 2. This has to be on the on every page, or document number. This has to be on all pages. Just like whatever that information we have to put onto the master page.
The header and footer.
There is a way, like we can design them, but that would be little complex now to explain and to understand too. We'll cover that in different sessions. This is a master page.
Is that graphic? Is that a reference, or is that content?
1 minute. Let me show up. Before that, I'm supposed to cover some. I have to show you some palettes and all. Let me click on the object. In the palette section, we will have different palettes like layout, border, object, and as well just before we have seen data view, the context view. Like once we click on them, everything opens up. Suppose if you want to know whether this graphic is a reference one or content one, once we click on that one, in the object tab, we can get it from this one, palettes menu, and the object here. 1 minute. Yes, here if you see it, this is paused as a, oh my god, this is on the server side, I assume so. This is a dummy. This is embedded image data. The image has been embedded onto the form. It's not a URL listing. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm sorry for this. I'm little confused. But having the checkbox, this data is embedded onto the form. Oh my god. Let me go back and come again. Look, this has been URL passed, but this default and all I assume this is on the server side, but I'm not confident now to.
This is by content.
It is showing the D document.
Yes,
Yeah,
this is the content, right?
Yeah, this is there.
It's on the server
So
side.
since it says URL, but it's taken from some
From the server.
server.
It's not on.
Content stored in server. Content
BMP.
stored in server.
My pictures.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, I'll answer that little later.
But that appears to be a reference, right?
This appears to be a reference, and as well, yeah, you're right. This appears to be reference, but yeah, reference has been given, and this is embedded onto the form data, the content. Embed the image data means this checkbox means that once we pass the URL to the image, once we click on the embed image data, what happens once we activate it, the image content gets embedded into the form, and later, though the server is not available, the content will remain with the form, the image content.
Right.
It is both reference.
And as we know, the content area is nothing but the floating information. And here I'll switch to the design part. So here, if you see, this logo and the design view now, the logo and the invoice, whatever are part of the master page are not editable. This information, the fields, whatever I have selected now, this all information is part of the content area. So what happens is once we create a master page with a specified content area, we can design our pages only in that content area. I mean, only the content area gets activated for adding any of the field. We cannot add out of that content area boundary. So as needed, we can readjust the content area. Suppose I want to drag till the invoice box. If I go here, the content area is dragged. As needed, we have to extend the content area limits. And creating a different pages. If we see here, there are different pages. There is a master page, and there's a main page. Whatever the pages we create, suppose 1 minute. Insert a page, new page. Let me name it. Created. So what happens is once this data flow behaves in a manner, like top to bottom, same as it happens in SAP script and in the smart form as well. And here also it's same. It's once the main page is created, and the data has been put across, whatever it is needed to print on that, and then I created one more page. I will put some more information or some more fields across, and then I'll create one more page. So the data flows accordingly. One page by page, page by page, page by page. So
in one page only we can have different windows, right?
yes, in one page.
One page, main, the other pages, header and footer and all we create in one page, single page in smart form script.
Yes.
But here you are creating different page for all.
Header and footers we can put onto the master slide, master page. Header and the footers. So that gets like a copy to all the pages. And if you want footer only on the last page, we have to do little scripting. And next thing, I've created just a page, and I'll drag and drop some fields. I'm trying to insert a field now, text field. Let me go to the palette. Where is the one?
Object library. Yes.
Object library. Okay. See, in the palette section, we do have different buttons to to view each of the. So let me take a text field. What is the one? Text. Okay, text field. I can drag and drop it over here. And this designing, this is same as in a Word or, like how do we design it? We do have all the properties. Suppose I have dragged the, text field. I want to, format it. I can do all the formatting here itself. Let me close the object library first. See, I do have a different UI elements now. What is a text field and what is a normal text? Just a label. Just like a label or caption for any of the field. Okay, I'm selecting this one. So whenever whatever the UI we select it, automatically that object properties gets displayed here. So this is a text field of type text field. We can change it to any field again as well here itself. And caption field. So if you see here, caption field is this one. If you want to edit here itself, we can edit it. So we can edit here itself, or if you want to edit, we can add it here also. What happened? Yeah. And as well, there are different properties here. Underline. If you want particular field to in an underline format, we can do that. So let me delete the main page first. We can see the. Let me delete. Like whatever we create, we can see. If I go to the preview, I can see the document, and the document I have selected underline, and then caption I have selected. Whatever we design it, we can straight away go to preview PDF, and we can see what is been designed, how it looks mostly. We don't have to activate it and again go further look and feel. Let me select this one, and here we do have one more option for text fields, allow multiple lines. Basically this is very useful, like standard text, they will have multiple lines, number of characters. Yeah, if we allow multiple lines, what happens? The data gets wrapped into the number of lines. And if we don't allow multiple lines, only whatever that visible area, that only gets displayed under the form. And moreover, suppose if my standard text is floating, whether I need the horizontal flexibility or I want the vertical flexibility, based on that, if you go to layout button, we'll have a expand to fit, horizontally also expand to fit, and the we can manipulate the coordinates here as well. Most of the times we would be needing expand to fit height, like as long how long the standard text is, that spreads across, and we can border them. Suppose I want to border, we do have all just like Word only. We can make it to any extent. This ordering we can make rounded. If you don't mind seeing, I'll show one of the one. I think Brian I've shown you. Shall I show it up now, Brian? The one I have shown you.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
This is how I have designed, for my this thing. When I saw this first time, I thought like, that is not possible. But thing is, having looked at, I have gone through all the possibilities, whatever I could do. Then, I could do this. In the beginning, having the smart form and the script experience, I was little like thinking whether it's possible or not. But you know, like this Adobe Forms made me easy. And again, for your previous question, this vendor delivery address, invoicing address, this is only on the first page. And if you go to second page, that is not there. That is how we did. And if you look at this footer section, this is not there on the first page and the second page. This is only on the last page. And after having you know, all the content, terms and the conditions should be displayed. You know, this was a major form that I could do on the Adobe Forms.
How much effort was it to do that form?
To be frank, you know, that was that was a very first complex one for me, and as it was, you know, in the beginning, it's not, you know, 1 month or this thing. It went for 5 months. When it started, only the boxes and all have come, and like they wanted some more fields to appear. Like it was a iterative kind. As and when, you know, the Agile thing, people have started asking, once they saw this thing, they started asking, we want this one, we want this one, we want this one. This went like, but thing is, you know, for me to create this one, this will take 2 weeks.
Okay.
Having the Adobe Forms, 2 weeks. And that time, you know, I was not knowing the scripting. I have waited for, you know, some experts' help for 4 days, and, you know, no one could turn up, and I had to sit all the night and, you know, learn the scripting. That is only one night job, you know, I could do to get the only some information on the first page and some information footer on the last page. But, you know, there was only, you know, like one night effort. That's it, to learn the scripting.
Okay.
Where we are, so we can play with this one, bordering, you know, like shading. We can do shadings as well. We can do background colors as well. We do have different options. And what matters to us, you know, mainly is, you know, the binding. Once we go to, in the object tab, once we go to binding, here, as I said before, the context is the source for the Adobe layer. Whatever we expose in the context at the ABAP layer, you know, that gets, you know, displayed. We were having address and the customer field, and whatever we activated, only those fields are available here. You know, I'll assign it to name. When we assign a name, as all these types are, you know, linked to ABAP dictionary, this point of time, this is asking whether we want the name from the ABAP dictionary, the caption, you know, the maximum characters. You know, once I click on that, what happens? It is supposed to change. It didn't. Maybe
the caption also.
1 minute. Let me delete it. I'll add one more field. There's something wrong. It usually changes the caption and everything.
No, you have not checked the caption. When you were buying, you have not checked the caption.
Okay.
You have to check the caption.
Okay. I'm closing this. And, you know, to work with the Adobe Forms, I suggest, you know, having a big screen. Data binding, we'll go here, we'll go to customer and the name, caption. And one more thing, if you are, you know, if it is worrying you, you can say, you can select this option, don't do this again. Yes. If you see here, everything is mapped.
And what's the plus for?
And
oh, text overflow?
Yeah, that's what the, you know, when I created that was, you know, the size is very condensed. the name is a 40 length character. I think the layout has taken less length. Let me redo it again. You got me, Brian? When I created that box, I selected only less horizontal width. But the name requires 40 characters long length.
You cannot change this.
Yeah, we can change it. Maximum characters.
I
think something wrong. This gives information text. The caption cannot
fit in the space.
Fit in the space provided. Okay. And let me go to this one then. 1 minute. Field. No, not
caption. Customer.
If I go to layout, brand, we see the customer as a caption for this one, right? If you go to layout, we again do have one more option, whether you want caption on the left, caption on the right, caption on the top, and out of this entire field, how much you want to reserve for the caption. Suppose my width is 10 centimeter, and out of that I want to reserve 2 centimeters for the caption, then that works.
Okay.
If you see now, the place is gone.
Right, I understand.
Yeah. And this is one more important one. To work with the caption. Usually we don't have to we don't have to write our own this thing, and by default it comes. And sometimes we need top side caption, left side, like so. These adjustments we can do manually using cursor itself, and by providing the coordinates and like numbers, we can adjust this. So, and I'll go to other field, object library. Now we just have discussed text also, and image. I'm doing a drag and drop of the image. Let me close the palettes again. Sorry. I go to the object, and it asks me the URL. I will go and select any of I don't know what image it is. Okay, and if I don't select the embed image data, if the guy from other PC if they are accessing, this is referring to my own PC. That won't work for Joby or some others. So they should be doing this one, embed image data, and as well scale image proportionately. Fit to the size, use original image. These are all, we can play with the image thing. This was one of my testing. So this is how do we work with the image thing. And let me go to one more. Object library. Let me again come back to the same text field. See, this text field we will be using the same text field for normal fields, and as well the addresses also we have to bind it to the same text field, and standard text also. 1 minute. Oh my God. Let me recap once, please. Address, we don't have a field. We don't have an option. Yeah. This text field we have to use it for the address, and as well for the standard text or the any application text. We have to use text field only. And and what else?
Radio button.
Yes.
Radio button.
And as well barcodes also. If you have to use a barcodes, oh my God, what is that? Not border. Yes, sorry. Let me close this one. So this is about standard text and normal text fields and addresses. We covered images. How do you put it? That also we covered. And one more important, the barcodes. Here, whatever is installed on the server, we can see them. These barcodes usually comes with the Adobe version, whatever is installed. And now we have got these many barcodes. Usually I remember using a code 128. Now simply drag and drop. Here as well, this is also works similar to the text field. We simply have to bind the respective field, customer in the city. That is how we design. And one more advantage with this thing is that we can we can be little free with our label designings as well. These Adobe forms have created the labels using the Adobe forms.
So we can use a label. We can use.
We don't.
We can use this
We
for
can use
labels,
Adobe
right?
forms. Yes, Adobe forms. We can straight away design them, and we can simply issue to the Zebra printers. That way I did for my previous project.
Okay.
The entire labels, we can design it in Adobe Forms, and the only thing is the printer should be having the device type should be of a correct set. I mean, the printer should be set correctly, that's it. From the ABAP side, we don't have to manipulate much.
Okay.
And what else is there? Sorry. Oh my God. I'm closing this for time being. Buttons are there, date and time. And 1 minute, let me show this one as well. And if we go to the object, we'll have field. This again works as a text field only, but we do have some formatting, binding. 1 minute, let me show brand. We will have a different patterns, like MM, DD, YY. Those patterns, we can make it work here itself. I'm searching for that option. Not this one. No, this one as well. Sorry.
Go to that.
Yes.
Come now.
Yeah. Let me do date binding first. And Brian, if you see here, we do have a different format, and oh my God, here also we don't have option. But I am sure we can adjust the format of them. I'm a little confused. 1 minute. Not this one. No, only display.
Default.
And one more common property, limit length to the visible area. And if you don't select it, it keeps on, extending. This is, one of the key attributes. Sorry, Brian, I'm not able to find it, but there is an option. We can select the format as well, and maybe that is up to the local format. Let me set up. I think that should be here. 1 minute. Bear with me. Yes, there are different formats. Yes, here it is. Year, month, date. Okay. Sunday as well. Okay. Clicking on apply.
And where was that at again? You go because you're going kind of fast and it's hard to. It takes a second for the screen
and,
to.
See what happened. I selected the field and the locale. I mean the locale. That is a different. That's where that didn't come. I selected USA as this one.
Okay.
And moreover, in the form documents, we are passing a country as well. Sometimes that takes that preference as well for printing the documents.
All right. And after you hit local.
Yeah.
USA, then what? You hit patterns. You hit patterns after that.
Yeah. Yes, Dan.
Okay.
Once I click on the pattern,
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
we
Okay.
have a different pattern here.
Okay.
The thing is, this is not easy to remember, but thing is we have to play around it.
No, I understand.
The date field is one, and if I go to the other one, image, we could see, and decimals. Decimals we usually use for quantities, or as well for currencies, and decimals we do amounts and all, and more decimal field. Like with the appropriate one, we can use a different UI here. And what else is that? The content area. Suppose we do on the master page, we do know only one content area. By default, it gets created. The thing is, I do want to use two different content areas. I can drag and drop this one to the master page, and there as well we can, while floating the content area, we will name it content area 1 and content area 2, and we have to give a floating sequence, like once the content area is filled, then go to content area 2, and sometimes as per the previous question someone was asking, the content area we can use it like we can bind a different page for the content area 2. Did I confuse?
No, I think I understand.
Okay. The content area 1, content area 2, we can use them. We can put it onto one master slide, and whereas the item information flows across only content area 1 across all the pages, but the content area 2 may carry a different information. If we define a different pages, we can route one page flowing into one content area from till end of the document, and another content area for another page we can float it across. That way we can use the content areas. And one more important thing, I hope I have covered most of the fields here, and one more important one is a subform. Subform is nothing but grouping the UI elements together. Suppose I want these two fields next to each other, but I don't know when the document gets generated how much length it takes, and thereafter only I need the caption to following this one. These are all attributes I cannot set it to individual thing. So all of these elements we can push it into one subform. 1 minute please. Data view and the hierarchical view. I just created my subform.
Where did you say?
The subforms, we can get it from the same object library. And remember that, for all text fields or anything, I'm going into the palette menu and then the object library. Here we do have all the buttons. I mean all the UI elements what we can design it onto the form. And I've taken a subform and I have named it my subform. My subform has got now two fields. The advantage, mostly 99% of the cases we will be using the subform side. You will understand the reason now. See, the thing is, the subform, this can be positioned with XY coordinates as well. I can use a float. The float as well. I can use the top to bottom. See, these two elements are grouped into a subform. Now this is a floating top to bottom. If I use the Western text, 1 minute. Sorry, 1 minute please. Something went wrong. This is a Western text, top to bottom. Do you see the difference now?
So this works like the protect and protect?
Yes,
the SAP
exactly.
script?
Not the protect and end protect. And that protect and end products here, the checkbox whatever you see here, allow page breaks within the content. Now this works as a protect and end protect. And whereas suppose I tell you my suppose I got suppose I tell you item number, material, quantity, price, and I do have item number 10 and the ABC and 10 quantity and the price is 222, and I got one more 20 and XYZ and quantity is 12 and again the price is 122. Suppose this information is there. The thing is, if I put all of these into one subform and putting a float with a Western text, if you see here.
It will allow you the text automatically.
If I put float and the Western text, automatically, these 4 fields gets formatted.
Aligned.
This is one subform now. Let me, merge. Yes. I'm putting into one subform now. Putting into one subform. This is one subform. Okay. And then what I do, I'll put this work area into one subform. I put all this into one subform. So what I have is, record 1 into one subform, record 2 into one subform, and my column titles into one form. So what happens is these are all into one subform, floating left to right. When it comes to when I'm looping at, let me loop it, I tab into work area and loop. See what happens is this is a work area now. My work area is into one subform. So whenever my work area gets displayed, that displays left to right format. And whereas my table has to follow top to bottom. This entire information I'll put it into one subform, having another subform as a element that comes from top to bottom. Confused?
I think I get the idea, but we would just have to work with it to understand it better.
Okay.
In the flow, Western text, it will print like this. If you are going to flow top to bottom, record 1, 10, 10.
Yeah. See, the thing what happens is, Brian, I'm putting all these into one subform. So it prints from left to right. And whereas the my work area also has to follow left to right. This is very much perfect. But whereas it coming to my entire table data, suppose I do have 100 records. My records have to follow top to bottom approach. Whereas my work area has to follow left to right approach. So my all record, first record has to come, and then second record, then third record, then fourth record, then fifth record. So my main subform has to follow top to bottom approach, and whereas my work area subform has to follow left to right approach. So our internal table data, table data, we can see in a table format. No, this is not required. This is not required to do that. And
Alignment or formatting?
I'll show. There is a simple way. If we have to quickly develop it, there is a simple way. I'll go back and I'll come back and show you. There is a simple drag and drop. Using this, the table data gets displayed on its own. Bear with me 1 minute. This is the main page. I do have I'm deleting all of these. So my main area is, suppose if I go to data view brand, we know our customer has got this thing. I can simply drag and drop it. My entire this thing, simply copied from the dictionary references, and the data is copied. And the same way I can drag my bookings table as well, and I can put it here. But this has got some problem.
Drag it down a bit.
We can simply drag and drop. The table information gets simply. But it matters when we need customized design and all. If it is a straightforward display of data, we can simply drag and drop over this thing, and we can make it work. In my hierarchy now, if I go to my hierarchy, the customer we have seen. See, data view is nothing but the context what we are getting into the Adobe layer. And the hierarchy is nothing but it follows a top to bottom approach. Here we'll see, however, we designed it. We'll see all of them. Here as well, we do have different fields, connections as well, and all. If you want, we can delete those entire rows. I think now this is very much okay. I'm activating it.
Do you know if there's version management on these as well?
No, Brian. This is again a tough task. What as usually we do with the script, we have to download the form and we have to upload the form. That is the only option we do have. And suppose just like a script only, we can download from. Suppose in the development, everything made zigzag and all. We need fresh copy. Then we can get it from the production or as well like quality, and then we can rework on the same thing. That is the only option we do have.
Okay.
Let me run. Brian, as I said before, the program is using the same interface is being used by different programs. Even my program also using the same interface. This is a test program. It's not a real one. I'm trying my luck. If you see here, I think we got some issue.
Deleted one row.
Yeah. I think something, I missed it. See, Brian, if you see here, I'll show up here, Brian. Suppose let's take the simple form and we'll run it. This is a standard form. Whatever we see it. These are, the data is being displayed. And I'll tell you one more thing, the important one. In SAP script, the smart form, whenever we change any format or something, 1 minute, let me go to this thing. Yeah, Brian, I said here, right, whenever we got any little formatting, everything, here we can see all the formatting changes and all. But at the same time, this is only look and feel. But my data is not changing. But the data is flowing across different pages or something. So the data is consistent. In that cases, we can work with this as well. Let me show up that one. Suppose we are, there is an option in the utilities. We'll go up here, and there is no trace by default. We'll use a very detailed trace, and we'll run the same program again. No activation, right? Deactivated it.
Okay. Revised.
This one, right? Okay.
Same.
Wait, go to attachments. Go to attachments. Brian, what I mean to say, the data the data is not changing. Only the floating of the, suppose I do have internal table having 100 records. The data is flowing across here and there. We don't have to activate the same program again and again, like smart forms and SAP script. We activate it and again we run the print program to see how the data is appearing again. But in case of Adobe Forms, we do have a little flexibility. The data we can capture it. The data is in a XFD file here. We can save it, save as attachment, and suppose I'm saving it to my folder. So my folder, the data file is saved. Whatever our form uses, the same thing is saved to my file. And I'll do little formatting work here. So, yes. Suppose I do have here. The thing is, my data I'm putting into float from top to bottom. I'm changing my content area. I'm reducing my content area. If I go to preview, I do see we do have 2 pages now, one of 2, and I'll go to 2 of 2. This is how it is appearing. But we don't know the data, how it gets populated. This is only design part. And to see the data, we already have a data file in the background. We can go to the form properties. It's taking time. I clicked it. No. I think I should be doing it here. 1 minute, let me do this part. Yes. Okay, sorry, I was in a PDF preview and that's where the pop-up was not coming up. And see here we do have an option, preview, and we can attach, for this form, for YP Makam _ FP _ test 3, I can attach the data file. We can use this option because my background data is not changing. I'm changing my layout. I don't have to reactivate it again and again. And we have attached the data file now. I can go to the preview. If you see here, my data has not changed. I have attached my data file. I can without activating it, I can work with the same layout again and again.
Every time we have
understood, or shall I explain it again?
No, I think I understand.
Okay. However, for a quick thing, I'll show it again. It's only 2-minute job. I'm deleting this thing. Okay, this is being used. So we are still again here. Oh my God.
It's open somewhere.
This is not. This is not. I think this is because of we have already binded that. There is a preview one. Preview one. I think that's the reason it is not. Oh my God, something. However, I'll show how to do that. The thing is utilities, and there is a settings. And in the settings, we are indirectly, tracing. We are tracing the entire this form, and we have to enable the very detailed trace. And once we enable that one, once we go here, see, usually what happens. 1 minute. Let me run it again. I'm clicking on the preview. This PDF file has got attachments, but we cannot see them. Show Adobe Reader toolbar. Here we do have attachment section. So when we activated nothing, there are many different files. Trace file is here. Different files got generated. Error file, whatever the errors occurred in the background, it shows. I mean, we can trace it to some extent. So the same way, XFT file is nothing but the data file. We can simply right-click it and save attachment, and wherever you want, you can go and save it. Okay.
Already.
And once you go to preview of the respective form, something went wrong. I think we have deleted the option, and preview and select the XFT file. And this we have to do for all the forms. The XFT demo is tied to the YP test 03. And if you open the other form, like we have to attach that respective file. If you go to preview here, we see them. This is a little easy. We don't have to reactivate and I think we have covered the to some extent. Tomorrow, I'll be concentrating on
Creating
master page and the body pages and subform, and how do we work with the print program.
Okay, I think it'd be a good idea to have maybe 5 scenarios where 1, how to add a logo, 2, how to add a column into the item text, number 3, how to add a maybe a text for an address.
Okay. And if possible, I'll take a sales order, and I'll get the logos available and item data, addresses. I'll show you a demo.
Okay.
With the existing sales order. So we will cover logo, address, text,
Okay.
and item data, floating address.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and stop the call now, and then we'll rejoin tomorrow at the same time.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Bye.